Hey guys, we are going to do another explore today, and I just wanted to show you a bit of what I have planned before we get out there. So this is Toronto as a whole, and this tiny little section here is what we explored so far. So we explored Long Branch over here, Alderwood, and today I have this whole expanse here in mind. So first up, I'd like to explore Mimico, which is this little L-shaped bracket here, I guess, with a big industrial area here, and then it encompasses Lakeshore and a bunch of residential areas here. And for part two today, I'd like to go to New Toronto. This is pretty interesting because it used to be an industrial powerhouse. Not even just for Toronto, but entire Canada and North America. So, gonna be talking more about that during that part of the video. But as a special bonus, sort of an addition to what I'm already doing, I'd like to live stream a walk through this area here, which is Humber Bay Shores. Many people argue that it is part of Mimico, but it's very nice. It has a bunch of condo buildings and a nice trail right on the lakefront that allows you to see downtown Toronto across the lake, which is more over here. So exciting stuff on the itinerary. Let's get out there and start exploring. Okay, so it is currently approximately 8 degrees right now, and it is 2:14 p.m. and we are at the intersection of Legion and Lakeshore in the easternmost corner of Mimico, or Mimico, as some people like to pronounce it. Let's continue. So the plan is to go all the way down Lakeshore, and by down I mean all the way west that we could go, so that we are butting up against New Toronto. And then after that, go north into the neighborhood, explore the industrial area a bit, go back east, and then back down south, and that should be a wrap. I actually filmed both a episode for New Toronto as well as Mimico last weekend, but the quality was just not there. Not only because it was absolutely freezing and windy as anything last weekend, but also because this camera doesn't do very well in the dark, and I would say just about half of the footage was after sunset, and it was very grainy, so I just didn't bother. Thought it best to redo the entire thing. I also got a new microphone, so hopefully that's cutting down the wind noise quite a bit. Something I find with videos such as this, with exploration videos in particular, is that if you don't have good audio, the quality of the video goes down drastically. So it's in your best interest to at least, even if the picture quality isn't 100% or isn't 4K or 5.3K, at least have one thing good, which is the audio. We are at Hillside and Lakeshore currently. And down towards this bend in the road here is quite a lot of richer, well, families, I suppose. The houses all of a sudden become massive. You'll see what I mean in a second. Look at those mansions. Huge, huge houses. Not so much on the right side of the street. Still fairly large, but on the left side that is butting right up against the lake, very, very nice. Coming up here, we have a more retail-oriented part of Lakeshore, and it stretches well into New Toronto, Long Branch, and then sort of amalgamates with Mississauga in in a place called Port Credit. There's an open lot on the left side of the street here, right on the lake, with no house, and in no time there's probably going to be another mansion built over there as well. Okay, so here's the border of Mimico and New Toronto, which we will be exploring in part 2. Right now I'm going to go up Dwight Avenue here and going to explore more of the industrial side of Mimico, just to see if there's anything of note there. Come back down and then go all the way up Lakeshore again to where we originally started, and then explore New Toronto. So let's get on with that. I know I said it before and I'll say it again, but it's just continuously shocking to me how, you know, the noise on Lakeshore can almost be deafening. And then coming onto these quiet little side streets, it's just a complete escape from the hustle and bustle of the city. That's why I love Toronto so much, because you can have the hustle and bustle of the city, but you can also have quiet spots like this, and then live 2 seconds away from that. But in other parts of the GTA, the greater Toronto area, it's just busy everywhere. Maybe I'm just hating on everywhere else. Maybe I'm biased, but that's the way I see it anyways, and certain people agree with me, so just thought I'd provide my own 2 cents to the people who may not be so familiar with the area. Now we got on the left side here tons of new industrial warehouses being built. And you'll see up here around this bend in the road is where the train tracks cut through this neighborhood. And I'm very lucky because this is a supremely nice day for the end of November, almost approaching December. The high for today was 11 degrees and sunny, which is fantastic. Last weekend when I did this same exploration, it was roughly 20 degrees colder, so around -8, -10, and the wind was just whipping through here like no tomorrow. So consider myself very lucky to be shooting this video on such a nice day. Also, for all those who will be interested, I'll be live streaming the Santa Claus Parade in Mississauga tomorrow. Curious how that's going to go. I've never been to a Santa Claus Parade before, so I don't know if it's going to be cheesy or if it's actually going to be good. I'll give it a shot anyways, though. I do know that the Santa Claus Parade has been going on for a really, really long time, like dating back to the early 1900s, but that's the Toronto Santa Claus Parade. I'm not sure about the Mississauga version, which is going to be the one that I'm going to tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean Sunday. I'm not sure what day that would be, but this video might be going live tomorrow as well, so a little confusing from that point of view. Let's see what the day is today. So today is the 26th, so the 27th tomorrow is when I will be going live with the Santa Claus Parade. I'm gonna turn left here, but that's insane. I like that shot of the buildings in the distance there. That is Humber Bay Shores, which is where we will be live streaming today. Can't cross here. All right, let me go quick. And then at these next set of lights here, we're going to be turning left. Let me just press the button here. This is the intersection of Judson, and I can't see another, sorry, this is Royal York. Judson and Royal York going west. This is a very long light. Okay. So, on the left side here, you can see that there is this massive wall. And I was trying to figure out why exactly that is. But I've come to the conclusion that it's either to keep people out or keep the noise in, or maybe both. We'll be able to see here in just a second that this is a stockyard for trains. So I'm assuming because there's houses right here butting up against it, they'd want to sort of decrease the noise as much as possible. Got metal bars and all kinds of cool stuff. There's GO Station headquarters. This is going to be Judson and Islington. If we were to go left here, it would take us over that bridge where we could see the stockyards and all of the train tracks. Which I might do. Yeah, why don't we do that? That is an absolutely massive bridge. Just look at that. Okay. I've actually never been up this bridge before, so I don't really know what to expect or how this is going to look like from the top. Take a look. Okay. That's quite the collection of trains there. Holy. Okay. Let me stop here for a second. There's all those trains. Actually, let me take this off for a minute. Take this pin out here so I can actually show you. That's amazing. Look at all those rows. That's got to be at least 10 rows of tracks. And then over down there we have even more. Unbelievable. And over there you can see kind of just a little bit of the lake on the horizon. Whoa, and then there is Toronto in the distance. You can see everything. The CN Tower, the sun setting on the city there. Kind of cool to be at such a high elevation here. But take a look at this. So over there where you see the tall cluster of buildings, those are all the condos where we will be live streaming today in Humber Bay Shores. More on that later, but let's go down and explore more of this industrial area over here that Mimico has to offer. It's putting this, what do you call that? This pin back in to this GoPro, or sorry, not GoPro. Definitely not a GoPro. This is a DJI action camera, the third model, in fact. Much more impressed with this than I am the GoPro, which I had just for one video. Now let me check on just adjusting it quickly. Yeah, okay, I think we'll be all right. Okay, so at Islington and Judson here, we will be making a left. Alrighty. Woo. Okay. Well, kind of run out of sidewalk here. All right, let me cut across. Canadian geese, I thought they already went south by now. Oopsie. I'm kind of shocked that the wind is much more aggressive here than it was right on the lake. Usually it's the other way around. Okay. coming up to this intersection will be Judson and Horner, where we will make a left. Okay. These streets are absolutely... They shouldn't be this busy, but they are. Okay, quickly. On the right side here, you can see that this is the Toronto South Detention Centre. So if any of you are curious what Canada's jails look like, shouldn't probably go in there, should go around. Well, it doesn't really look like a jail, to be quite honest with you. I mean, let's just take a quick look here. Kind of looks like a hospital or a hotel or something. I can even see that they have a Christmas tree in their front lobby, which I guess, hey, each their own, celebrate the festivities. It just looks very welcoming. Usually jails aren't like that, but okay. Kind of reminds me of a community center almost. With the glass lobby in the front there. How can I get out of here? Okay. More trains, and we are going to observe the backside of this detention center, if that's what you want to call it. They got the tall fences around the back here. But just take a look at that. Huge. It's almost like a hotel. I've never seen such a tall facility before, for a jail especially. Interesting. I'd be even more curious to see what it would look like inside. We got various industrial companies and warehouses here. This one seems to be concrete slabs or marble slabs, slabs of some sort. Okay, so this is Kipling. Kipling and Horner. And I think what we're going to do is just take a right here. We're going to go down here for a little bit, and then we're going to go to Royal York and then go down from where we came, sorry. But so whenever I go exploring to a neighborhood such as this one, I find it kind of interesting to do some research beforehand just to see, if there's any interesting facts or, maybe some history that'll pique my interest. And with this area in particular, and when I say this area, I mean Mimico, the origin of its name sort of caught me off guard. Now, I'm not entirely sure the correct pronunciation behind this, but there was this native word, and I believe it was Mimico, or something of that sort. It sort of sounded similar to Mimico, Mimico. And then the reason that this area was called that is because apparently in their language it meant the resting place of many birds, or something along the lines of that. And when I looked into that a little bit further, there was a massive, and I mean massive, colony of passenger pigeons at one point in this area. And not just in this area, but New Toronto and Long Branch and all of those areas as well by the water, but especially here. And I thought, okay, well, how many? And so some people, they found diaries of, farmers and other people who lived in the mid 1800s around this area, and apparently these flocks of birds were so dense that it would take hours for them to pass, with millions of these birds flying overhead. And they were so dense and so low flying that a person could wave their sword around in the air and kill a couple dozen of these birds. And so they became such a nuisance that they came in these giant droves and almost like locusts just ate up all of the farmers' crops. And this is kind of funny, but when they came and they left, it looked like it snowed here because of all the poop. So I thought that was funny. But the most interesting part about all that, and it isn't exactly related to Mimico itself, but the passenger pigeon all of a sudden became endangered and extinct, very close from one another, very quickly happened. And no one really knows why. And actually, now that I'm sort of thinking about this, I remember back in high school, we were being taught about this passenger pigeon. And even then we were told that, well, there's only a few theories for why they went extinct. And that's because they need to be in large numbers to survive. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it is sort of I guess it sort of makes sense, because what kind of predator would want to approach a tree with 10,000 pigeons in it? Kind of intimidating. So I just thought that was interesting. There's many stories too about how these hunters would come and shoot these birds, and they wouldn't even have to aim. They would just shoot into the air while they were flying overhead and, you know, kill like a dozen per shot because you just couldn't miss. The best part is, though, that they were really good for eating. They tasted great. So there was, you know, if there was ever a famine, or, you know, the village didn't have enough food back in the day, well, you can just wait for the passenger pigeons to come, a big flock of them, and then just kill a whole bunch of them, and you're fed for weeks. Thought that was hilarious. Whenever I'm biking through areas of the city like this, I always get mesmerized by the skyline in the distance. It looks awesome, especially when you have a clear view of it. You know, it's like a road that is super straight, and you can just see everything. This is, again, Islington and Evans, I believe. And I'm pretty sure this marks the end of the industrial area of Mimico. And if we go a little bit further down this way, we'll get into the more residential side of the neighborhood, and then we'll be able to turn right down Royal York. Bungalows seem to be pretty popular in this area. A pretty healthy mix of older and then more modern houses around these parts. We have a pedestrian crosswalk right here. And for those of you who are watching from outside of Canada, or maybe a part of Canada that does not contain these sort of contraptions, basically when they are flashing, the cars will have to stop both ways and the person will be allowed to cross. Usually it's used in a residential setting where, you know, there's a high amount of people walking around, but not enough to justify a traffic light. Now, this being Royal York, I will turn right down this road here. This is a nice residential strip as well. Holy potholes everywhere. That guy was eating on the top of his Ferrari because he didn't want to get the seats dirty. Whoa, nice old car. One thing I really like about areas like this is that the businesses in the area centralize their brand around the area which they are in. I mean, I just passed up there a Royal York meat market, and I find that interesting because they brand themselves with where they are. Royal York is the street that we are currently on right now, and not too many places do I see that happen, so kind of restores my faith in humanity every time it does. It kind of, to me at least, generates a sense of community within that area. Sort of like a microculture. That's another thing. As soon as there's a little bit of a breath of sunshine and nice weather, all the motorcycles and the fancy cars come out just for one last time before the snow comes again. Mimico Convenience Plus. Okay. What I love about Royal York, the street that we are on right now, is that you can follow it straight and it'll go all the way down to the lake or all the way into the heart of Etobicoke. And not only that, but it's not that busy. I mean, you got a nice bike lane here, and it's one lane each way, sort of just a nice street for cruising along. You don't have to worry about people cutting you off too much. Fairly relaxing. In the distance, you can already see the lake. Unfortunately, we did miss our turn. That's okay. If we turn right here, we'll still be able to get back to just the beginning of New Toronto, which is where I will end this video and continue it with part 2. And it should be just 2 minutes up this street here, Lakeshore. You can pretty much tell where New Toronto starts because it's where all the retail stores begin, and I believe the first of them was McDonald's. Let me get on the street here. That's one thing about going on streets like this. You gotta hug tight towards the cars, otherwise you're gonna be very close to getting hit. In any case, this was Dwight Avenue